What's getting old? The crack? Who is that? Steph. Steph is Devlin. Stephanie Devlin. It's not getting old. We're just getting started. All right, let me pull up Martin. No intro today. I'm just going to jump in there. Let's see here. Can you hear me?
We can hear you. What's the crack?
What's the crack? She says now. She
Crack
says all the
is
crack
good.
is good. Hello, nice to meet you. Hang on. Let me go back.
This is gonna be the fun part.
Yeah.
Elisangela.
Oh
Elisangela?
wow!
Wow. Usually
This is
people
always a
cannot
big.
say my
This is a
name.
big challenge for people. You did it. You nailed it.
Nice to meet you too.
Nice to meet you. Who's the little one?
This
Who's
is
the
little
little
master.
Angelo.
This is little master Angelo. Yeah, he's
Angelo.
introducing himself. Yeah.
All right. Yeah. I put a picture up.
beside me.
3. You got 2 or 3? I don't
Yeah,
see
I've got
the
2.
third
Well, two that we can see. Two that we can see.
Yeah. So we've been wanting to get some kids on here.
Well, yeah, you got one.
How old is Angelo?
He's 1 year, 1 year and 2 weeks. 16th of October last year. So yeah, 1 week, 1 year and maybe 2.5 weeks, something like that. Yeah.
Very cool.
He's,
Thank y'all for coming on this. Well, it's morning over here. I think it's what 5 o'clock or something over there. Thank y'all for coming on
with us. Yeah.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
I didn't realize I went to your page. I was looking for a picture. I found a picture of all 3. It was pretty. It was cute. And then I saw you guys, and I remembered part of the story. Y'all met somewhere, like in another country, right? Was it Dubai or somewhere?
Yes. Yeah. We met in Dubai.
Right?
Yeah, we met in
So
Dubai.
I mean, like, what were y'all doing in Dubai? Dubai.
I was going there to meet her.
Yeah, we always say that.
Were you consciously going there to meet her, or did you meet her when you got there?
No, I didn't know it at the time, but I know it now. And she was waiting.
Yeah.
She was
Yes.
So
we didn't know.
So and that was like a couple of years ago, right? Wasn't it a couple of years ago? God,
2015.
how 2015. That's when I met Morgan. That's right. So you were going to Dubai, and you were living where, in England?
I was living in Ireland at that time. Yeah, I was in Ireland. Yeah, going through another breakup, going through another messy breakup, and I was like, away from my problems.
Dark night of the soul.
Oh, completely. But it was the best decision I ever made in my life. I can say now. I didn't know it at the time. But yeah.
Well, you got a cheerleading section there, so
we do. This little one. So he named himself.
Yeah, I heard about that. He named himself 5 days after conception or 5 days after birth. I can't remember.
No, after birth.
Yes.
Yeah. He told us both telepathically, independently, what his name was going to be.
Wow.
Didn't he? And he always smiles when we talk about this. He's like, "Yes, I did."
He does the breath work.
Well, he knows what's up. So, Elisangela, where were you living, or were you living in Dubai when y'all met?
I was living in Dubai for some years. I used to work as a cabin crew, so I was living there for some years. But then I left my job. I resigned, and I was trying to get out of Dubai. I started traveling to another place, do some courses, and then I was going back to Dubai. And it's like I was stuck there. At the same time, I want to get out. But when we met, it we could get out together.
And you could understand. So, I mean, how did you meet? Did you just walk into like a restaurant or something and you saw each other and went, neat, you know? Or did you have friends?
Kind of, yeah.
My friend invited me to go to a wellness weekend where Martin was working with breathwork there. And then, yeah, we saw each other. And it's like we knew each other.
He's doing breathwork. As soon as you mentioned breathwork, he's like...
And then when we look at each other, it's like we knew each other for, I don't know, so many lifetimes.
Really? You mean before you even spoke to each other?
Yes.
Absolutely.
You just looked in the, wow.
And for
I bet that was.
I mean, soul recognition was what I felt. Yeah. Every other relationship I had was all lower chakras, and feeling like this instant like pull of this was like pure heart soul recognition. It was just very different than anything I'd ever experienced in my life.
So who busted the move? Who talked first? Who talked first?
Oh, there's a fun. I came to you. Yeah?
I think you came to me. Yeah.
I can't remember. Remember that?
You don't even remember.
I
remember the moment I seen, but I don't remember after the top words. Everything just like was.
I know. I went to get water, and you were with Jake. What's his name? Jacob. And then he asked if I would come next day because it would be
I did.
Meditation.
Oh, you busted the move. You busted the move.
Then they were together, like he was looking at me, and then after all the sessions and workshops, he came and talked to me.
So there's actually a funny story about that as well, because I gave her my number. We got on like so well. Obviously, it was just the soul recognition. I gave him my number, and I thought, right, okay, we're going to connect. And then a week went past, and I never heard from her. And I was like, what is going on? Was this a dream? Was this So didn't hear anything from her. And she came back. We met a week later in the same place, not arranged, but we met a week later, and I spoke with her, and she came up to me and said, "Are you married? Are you married? What's going on?" So she checked out my Instagram and seen pictures of my nephews. Oh no, actually, firstly, she'd taken the number down wrong. And on WhatsApp, you get like this picture, and there's a picture of some Dubai rich guy with his Ferrari or Lamborghini. So she'd taken the wrong number.
Yeah.
Either that or she thought you were a shapeshifter. Okay, so y'all met by chance a week later. I mean, how long did it take for one of you or the both of you to look at each other and go, okay, something's up, I'm in. I'm in. Let's do this.
That second it happened, but we didn't meet again for the week after because she'd taken she'd put one digit wrong in the number, and she got someone else's number, and she's seen this guy with like this Lamborghini and some other like. Yeah. And then when we met, then it was on. 6 weeks later, we moved in together. Within a couple of months, we left Dubai and never looked back. Went to India, did yoga teacher training, and we never looked back since. It was winter solstice 2015.
Yeah.
That was the date.
So were you in Dubai? Were you running or engaging with like communities, like these types of communities? Is that the kind of environment that you met in?
Yeah, absolutely. I was doing breathwork there. That was the center that we were in. I was doing breathwork, and we we're having amazing experiences there doing the breathwork. And there's a very strong spiritual community actually there. It's like overrun with like yoga teachers and Reiki and wellness, because it's such a dichotomy and it's such a ungrounded society. It needs it. So there's a huge movement there actually, really huge.
Yeah, and there's a lot of money over there, so I guess everybody pretty much gets to do what they want as far as working.
Well, there's so many people have experienced all the money and the materialism, and now they're finding it's pretty plastic and empty, and now they're turning their hearts.
Oh yeah. Yeah, they're all looking around and seeing who's actually enjoying this, and you got to keep looking higher and higher up the pyramid.
I don't know. It's not a place. Not a place for families.
No, it's like let's not talk about Dubai. Everything's got its light side and its dark side. But the energy of your union speaks for itself. So I don't even know having to get into that. Uh, you know, but it's a beautiful thing just seeing being exposed to the frequency. I got to ask you both, because you've both been in these circles, and I know we get caught up in words sometimes. But what's your take? This will be like a multi question. What's your take on the role of unions such as yours in this transition we call ascension? And what's your take on what's happened to the term twin flame? All right, either one, either question, either person.
That's fair. That's fair. That's fair.
For me is expansion of our awareness, because the work we do together, it's really beautiful. At the same time, it's challenge, because we are aware of the things, because we teach people, we do this work, and then we experience in our relationship, and then it's very challenging. So, but at the same time, at the end, when we go through everything, at the end is beautiful, and we feel this expansion, this peace, this happiness to go through, because we both know we are mirrors. We are aware of that, and I feel this. It's our expansion and this love that we always search. That is the unconditional love. And then for me, when I go through this procedure of finding out what is happening inside of me, what I have to go through, that he's showing to me as a mirror. And then at the end, it's so beautiful. I feel really, really happy and peaceful inside. And yeah, I think it's amazing.
Let me ask you, let me go back over what you just said. I love that. And thank you so much for that very eloquent and thorough explanation. At the very beginning, you said you both know what's going on. You work with people, you both work with people, and then you have to go through it in your relationship together. Now, and then you said, and that's kind of challenging, but it's always a huge elevation afterwards. I can relate to that. That's what you were saying, right? So yes. I guess where I wanted to go with it to clear things up for people is explain to them that, couples such as you, or even Morgan and I, that are in these communities working every day, that are in these relationships, these unions, their work, and it's like going through the ascension as you do alone, but it's like three energies. It's like you're going through it, I'm going through it, and then there's this energy that is us going through it. And it takes a conscious effort, doesn't it? Doesn't it take a conscious effort?
Yes, it takes. Because I can see the difference before, when I had the relationship. I could just turn my back and leave it, the situation, and then next day we would talk and go on with the life, but with that wound in your body, in your mind, in your field, and going on and on and on and on. And then there is one day that you cannot live anymore with that person, because I didn't know it was my mirror. And now I know it's my mirror. It's going to be hard to go through the procedure and everything, like shadow work and everything that we do together.
It's it's those older relationships. It's kind of like, I know it's that other person. It's not me.
Yes.
And these relationships, really, and then these relationships are, I know it's me. And you know what I mean? But one of the things I wanted to ask you too, because I can relate to this, what I notice is, I love your description, because what I notice is in this union, this present type of union, this present frequency that we're all getting into, nothing is left undone. Like nothing's left unsaid, either verbally in either verbally, and I think for Morgan and I, a lot of time telepathically.
Yes.
Especially as time goes on, there's less said, but everything is seen. Like if one sees it, the other sees it, and you really don't have to really say anything, and you pick up on it and you move on. I like what you said about the old relationships, because you would get up the next day and sweep it under the rug, and we all know what happened with that. That he looks.
You would believe how many times we say that to each other. Nothing gets left out. Nothing gets left out. Nothing gets left out, and we talk about it all of the time. And it's a healthy conversation, but it's challenging. It's really challenging.
Yeah.
You don't get away with anything, and that's good because that's growth.
And sometimes you go ahead.
I cannot express, because I'm working with this to express my emotions straight away. And even if I take a little bit more time, he can feel it, and then he comes to me and asks what's happening. I cannot hide.
And my journey is all about communication as well. And obviously, Elise is, her English is amazing, but it's like a second language to her. And to be honest, English is a second language to me as well. So we do have challenges with that as well. But like you said, it's not the words. The words are there, but it's the energy, the telepathic communication.
The words the words, the silence is very effective. What were you just saying? Oh, well, and then sometimes it doesn't seem like long periods of time, but sometimes you can have, half a day or a whole day or 2 days or 2.5 days where you're just both very quiet, doing your own thing, working your own stuff out, and that's different than the old relationships, because the old relationships, are you okay? Are you okay? Are you okay? Are you okay? And then you're trying to accommodate and appease and all that. So this is such a new type of energy. Do you find that it takes a little getting used to it? Do you like pinch yourself sometimes? Go, okay, you mean all I got to do is love her and and just take care of myself, and to thine own self be true, and do my work and align it all. And this is crazy.
Yeah, for me, I went through so many of the old relationships. I mean, so many. Elise didn't have a lot, so I went through so many. So I had so much baggage, so much trauma, so much of that old way of being. So for me, it's like just incredible. It's just like this amazing realization that that's me over there in the beautiful goddess Brazilian body, but that's me over there, and everything that I'm feeling, it's like that's me. And like you said, all before it's everyone else. It's always you, and they're doing this.
That's right.
But that realization was freedom. It was freedom. With all the challenges, it's freedom, because it's empowerment, and it's like that it's an opportunity for you to see yourself in the fastest, most direct, most beautiful, and most challenging way that you can do, I feel.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's funny how I say I am so blessed to be going through this with a divine partner, because it brings so much more clarity to things, and the things you can see at the speed you can see them, but also being able to look across, look over in the bed or look across the room, and there they are, and you're like in it together. I mean, that part's cool too. It was funny because I was having, I guess, a conversation with my higher self, and this was like over the last maybe 2 days, maybe 24 to 72 hours ago, when all that energy was still like landing and people were integrating it. And like the human goes, Morgan's thinking this. And I don't do that. It doesn't happen like that, right? It just doesn't. I don't even go there anymore. But it popped in because I was a little bit vulnerable or raw or whatever, off balance or whatever. And then I said, oh, she's thinking that, whatever that was. I don't even remember. And then I heard my higher self go, well, you're thinking that, so it doesn't really matter what she's thinking. So I got that quantum download to where, like, okay, I'm the one creating this. Exactly. Right. So I just, threw it off like everything else. Yeah.
I'd like to ask you, because we don't speak a lot. We've spoken to a lot of others. Do you ever, like, because we have a joke about this, do you ever like say, can we have a day off today? Like, do you say to Morgan, or she says to you?
From each other?
Well, just from the whole, like the intensity of everything that we're doing, do you ever say like,
yeah, you know, like she tries to keep Saturday and Sunday open since we've gotten settled here. We've been here about 3 weeks, 3.5 weeks. And yeah, she'll be like, you know, and probably other than the phones, which really we should just put away too, at least for, you know, half a day, whatever. But yeah, you know, like let's get away from Soulogy. Let's do me and you. And sometimes we just chill out and watch movies one after the other and, you know, drink tea and just, you know, talk and let it all go. Absolutely.
But what about like the between you two, like the journey, like the mirroring, the shadow, the, you know, the aspects of that? Because like we found it was like just relentless. It was like continuous that we would, there's not a day. Yeah. There's not a day. There's not a day goes by where something doesn't come up. It's like in those old relationships as well. You could go weeks or you could go with even not even romantic relationships, friends and partners. You can be away from them for a time, but we live 24/7. We work. Or, you know, there's no time off, and we have a joke about it because at least sometimes to say, can I just get a day off with this, whatever this agreement was?
Yeah. Yeah, it's a lot, isn't it?
No inner work. Yes, that's what I should say.
Yeah, the inner work. Yeah. Well, I think ours was a little bit different. Our polarities. We're full of polarities. And so when we came together, we were we were at extreme polarities. Okay, in many ways. And so essentially, I had a lot of shadow. I'd done a lot of shadow work, but I'd never been exposed to any modalities or processes. I walked the streets for 2 years in a constant communion. I know I was doing deep shadow work there, but I was very unaware. I was unaware of particularly the wounded masculine and the really wounded feminine, you know, these deep wounds I had in myself. Anyway, so when she came the first time in 2017, she was here for 10 weeks. The first 5 weeks, she put me through a boot camp, and I was a willing participant. And it was a fast track to help Todd get through his bullshit. So Morgan, who put everything, you know, into the basket and came over because our higher self told her to give it a shot, you know, and all that. So anyway, the second time she came, we got married. I had less shadow. I was still working on a lot of stuff. And then the third time she came to Hawaii, since then, you know, it's like I said earlier, I can see her working through her shadow as I can see myself working through my shadow. We both handle our stuff. We don't talk about it a lot. We do talk about it some, and occasionally, not as often as we used to. She'll say, I think we need to maybe pull some cards, which we rarely ever do. These special cards she has called O cards. Or she might say, I made a list of these things. I'm going to invocate them, and, you know, then I'll do it. You know, we'll just do it on our own. But yeah, so it's, I think, well, I guess what I'm saying is she had done years and years and years. I'm talking 15, 20 years of shadow work. So by the time she got to me, she was pretty pure. She was closer to pure. I was way over in the dirty section. But anyway, yeah. So that's kind of, I think we're fortunate and we get along. I mean, like, no matter what we're doing, it's like, and we may not say a word to each other for 3 or 4 hours or whatever the case is, but we just give each other space. So we're blessed to be able to have the time together. And we're not having kids. I can't relate to that at all.
Yeah, we made a conscious. Yeah. When we first got together, it's funny you talk about shadow work. So for maybe anyone watching this, maybe because we decided pretty early that we did want to have a family, we wanted to have a child. But so like for us, my shadow work journey probably started a little bit before I met Elise, but not very long. And we decided quickly that we wanted to have a family, have children, and we didn't realize how much shadows that we had around that specifically. So we were trying for quite some time and it never happened. And then I remember one day where we both, a huge realization on both sides. We actually went to 2 different rooms. You know what happened? You went that room, I went that. Deep shadows we had around becoming parents. we tried for ages, nothing happened. And this day we both uncovered some huge aspects. I actually can't even remember what it was now, but I suppose it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
But we realized that after we've been trying, the next day we integrated those shadows, both of us. We went to a room each, we did it. And the next day we consciously conceived Angelo. We literally knew it was conscious. I could feel it.
Wow.
We could see the light. We, like, in the middle of the process, we consciously conceived him. And that was due to, well, many things, but that day before was that shadow integration that made that happen, that allowed it to happen.
Yeah.
Wasn't it?
Yeah, it's amazing. It's amazing. And to be in a situation where you're not pointing the finger at the other person is huge, right? You know, and the more one, I mean, she obviously had to do it a lot more than I did. And what I mean is I did the projecting, even though I was a pretty good sport. I'm, you know, all day, every day. So even if I screwed up, you know, she knew how my heart was in it. But as time went on, I stopped acting out, you know, probably the first part of the year, maybe into the spring, but not very often. But now I'm much calmer and cooler, and I attribute it to her holding that frequency and allowing me to match it. You know, so now if anything happens and you know, she gets ruffled or wobbled at all, I just know it's got nothing to do with me. So it's cool.
That's a fun conversation when you have that at the beginning, when you both are like, especially when it comes back at you. It's oh, yeah, you got your own stuff, and then you get it straight back. Yeah, you got some stuff to deal with. It's fun. It's fun, but it's empowering.
Yeah, that one and the one that comes with the power surges. I want to talk about that with you guys and talk about some of your experiences. But the power surges where you have like that mutual joint elevation, you know, that ecstatic, oh wow, or you have a dimensional or whatever the case is, and you're like, oh my God. And see, I stopped saying something a few months ago because I would go, oh man, we got this. I got this. I'm on it. I know, I know everything I need to know.
Never.
And she'd say, okay, Todd. with a little grin on her face. Now, how about you know, everybody goes through their journey uniquely, and these couples are adding a new twist to it. We've had a lot of dimensional experiences, you know, apparitions, stuff like that we've discussed openly. And I know everybody's not the same, has nothing to do with comparison, but I'm just curious with the type of, you know, with the type of connection that you have and the amount of illumination, dedication, loyalty, intention, what have you guys had stuff happen that you're just going, wow? I mean, have you had any type of mutual dimensional experiences or sacred sexual cosmic stuff happen? You know, otherworldly stuff or stuff that may have just happened to you as an individual, but now it's happened together?
Want to take this?
You take it.
You had more of the experiences than me as well. We had the mutual experiences, but you could share some of your like otherworldly experiences.
Yeah. That sounds good.
I talk a lot. This is your time to talk.
Beautiful.
So you mean like without you, without?
No, I'm saying both yeah.
Together.
Well, either or.
Yeah. No, I had so many, like by myself and together as well, because I was always very sensitive since I was child, and yeah, before I met him, I was doing some meditation. I read some mantras. But when we met, I think it was the boom, like for me, because I started doing the breathwork session with him, and I had like.
You could talk about those.
Yeah, every Saturday, like for almost 4 months, I was going to the session, and I was having a beautiful, beautiful experience. Each session was different, and one of the sessions, I saw us like interlacing and going up together, like our soul was becoming, I don't know, one and in which each other. And that day I was like, oh my God, and I have to tell him that I love him. And it was like just some weeks that we were together, and I was thinking, shall I say, shall I not? And then when we went to his house, I told him about this, and I told him that I love him. Yeah, but it was beautiful, beautiful experience. It's just one that beautiful ones that I remember. I had so many.
Tell the one I think is a really good one to tell about when you went to the capsules.
Yeah.
This was powerful.
We went to the desert with some friends, like 5 of us, and then Martin just put these binaural beats for us to listen for 20 minutes only. And then our friends went first, and then I was, I think, the 4th one. And then I felt like this, I was in a capsule, and I was feeling this kind of electricity going all over, inside and out of my body, inside of this capsule. And this capsule started going up to the space. And then when it stopped, the capsule opened. And then I felt my body was light, but the shape of the head and the shoulders and the rest was like kind of, you know, when you see ghosts on the TV, but light, like very bright. And I felt I didn't have any emotion, like human emotion. It was just light and pure light, no emotion, nothing. And then I saw in front of me this like extraterrestrial with like those eyes that we always see, but the head was connected with everything. And it was very, very slim, like very long arms. And was the skin was like a frog skin, very, but I could feel that being was like really pure love. And then we were, when I saw around, so many capsules were there, like floating in the universe and in the dark. And I was, oh my God, what is this place? And then both of us, myself and that being, float close to this wall, like infinite wall. And there were like kind of, for me, TV, like this round thing with a glass. And then I could see my family first. And this being was saying, like, point like with a long finger, you see here your family. And I saw everyone from my family, even dogs. Because on that time I went to take care of my family. I went in to learn what I was learning, you know, and I always want to make sure they were happy and always. And I couldn't. I felt I couldn't do this, but I didn't want to give up. And then the being said, you cannot do anything. You just send them love. You know, they have to go through their own things. And then we went to the second kind of scream, and I saw my dogs that I didn't want to leave in Dubai because I was very attached to my dogs. So they were like my kids as well. And the last one was my friend. The last scream was my friends as well, because I always want to take care of my friends. You know, I was like a big mama, always taking care of everyone.
You were like detaching, but seeing the higher.
Yes.
That's profound. Now, were you guys were in the desert? Were you meditating, or was this?
Yes.
This all happened in 20 minutes.
I laid down.
Like literally, she was meditating on the desert for 20 minutes, and she had like a lifetimes of this.
And then I said to this being, I want to know more. I want to know more. And he said, no, that's it for now. You have to go. When he said you have to go, it's like I was going to the capsule so fast, and the capsule closed. And then I was coming down to earth, but then it was painful because I was feeling all the emotions that a human being got, like everything, all the emotions, and very fast going down. And when the capsule came down to where we were, I started crying because it was painful again to come back to this body. I was crying. And then I felt Martin put his hand on my head, like, and then I felt my friends doing like Reiki and so many things, but I didn't open my eyes, just felt, and they were doing. And then I started laughing like a kid. I couldn't stop laughing.
You started laughing. Then you came out and said, "Bom dia."
How am I going to explain? Bom dia. I was thinking, how am I going to explain all these things to these beings, like just human beings? Because the experience was so real. And I was laughing, and they were looking at me like this.
Was like, did I'm just curious, when you came back in real fast like that, did your body feel all cold and heavy? Like, was it like, feel like, that's how it was for me. I mean, feel like really cold and heavy, and it's, God, it's like, you're right.
Because I was very light there, just light, and then come to this body. It was painful and heavy, and all the emotions coming. It's like it was like a movie coming into my body so quick. And then that night, we left midday. We slept there that night, and then we left midday because it was getting hot. And then I had a breathwork session, and then it was this again. I felt this being here. That was myself, the light being like I saw there. But then this time it was more painful because my chest was opening, and I could hear this voice, "Are you ready? Are you ready?" And I was, "Oh my God, I think I'm gonna die now. Are you ready for what?" I think it was for this detachment from taking care of everyone, attachment to everyone and everything. Because on that time I was detaching from so many things in my life. I felt that.
You know, several couples we've talked to, and what I've observed is that the female tends to be like the transmitter. You know, she tends to pull in, communications, at least at this point, most of the time. Like, she tends to like know where they're going, kind of thing. I don't know if you guys are experience that. I know you're both sensitive. But that's interesting. Like an occurrence like that, Morgan would, especially in the early days, have things, and I couldn't see it. I could then get to a point where I could see it through her eyes, and then later on, it evolved to something else. Has there been an increase in your sensitivities in the 2, 3, 4 years you've been together? Are you seeing your skills and abilities elevate? And if so, what type and how's that happening?
Yeah, well, for me, like what happened when we got together, we moved in together. That's when the channeling that I do started. So I had felt it, but I'd ignored it and pushed it away like any good Catholic-born Irishman would do. I pushed it away and didn't want to do it, didn't want to hear it, didn't want to. And then one day we were sat at breakfast table, and we were sat, and I could feel like something wanted to speak. And because Elise is from Brazil, in Brazil, channeling is very normal. It's very in the culture. It's not even like in Europe, they've been doing it for a long time. And she said, I was like kind of freaked out. Something's going to speak through me, or something wants to move my mouth, because I'd ignored it. And she said, yeah, you're going to channel. And so then I did. I let it go. And then it did take me 3 years. But then that's when I opened and developed. And it's all to do with this relationship and the trust and the expansion. Because the layers fall off. All the work that we do together is a subtraction. It's a letting go of the layers. So more and more I was able to, already the breath work was incredible things were happening, but this was more the channeling, the intuition, the ability to just get direct downloads. Like I think I told you on the first time we were on, is like literal direct instant downloads would happen with me. And I noticed they tend to happen when we've had, like you told, those big breakthrough moments. We might discover something, we have something, and this could be like 4 a.m. We've had something, we're in this kitchen, and it just break through. So for me, it's just been like meteoric, and it doesn't stop. It's like, it seems like it's only the beginning.
So, and let me ask you this, both y'all, if and so whether it's aspects appearing or talking or communicating one way or the other, or channeling, light language, do you see these energies that are coming through? And I know we're all one, I know, I mean, at the end of the day, but do you see these aspects coming in as being extensions of you or aspects of you as time goes on, or even like the being that you met when you went up into the capsule, and then the next time you did the meditation, you had that other experience. Do you see that as a higher aspect or a multidimensional aspect of yourself or yourselves, Martin, when you channel?
Sorry.
Do you see that being as another aspect of yourself?
Yeah, now I see. On that time I did, and I thought it was a being that was connected in another way, but not really connected like I know now, just to help me. But now I understand that it's another aspect of myself, and it's so beautiful to feel and see that, because I just didn't see. I felt this love, this, yeah, I think it was just love, the word, love and light, and I could feel that on the time. But now I'm more with Angelo. I'm not practicing too much things. Like I try to practice yoga in the morning as much as I can, but he wakes up with us in 5 a.m. He wakes up as well. But one day I could do the whole class, and I was feeling so blissful. I was laughing and crying.
You're with Angelo. You're with Angelo. You're with Angelo. You're in boot camp.
She's with the angels.
I'm with the angel.
For me, I totally agree. Like, I have opened myself to the ability to channel many different beings, let's say, or many different collectives and that. But I always have felt, even though they're named, that it's just extensions of ourselves. Yes, they're just expanded versions of ourselves. It doesn't matter what the name is. It doesn't matter what the flavor is. It's an expanded version of ourselves. And I feel less and less there will be labels, and less there will be like definitions and names. And it'll be more like, I think how you talk about it, like kind of just my higher self, you know. But I don't think there's anything wrong with the labels either, but I feel less and less they will be used.
I don't think it's like, oh, you got to stop doing that. I think certain things just fall away. But you know, one of the things that I noticed, I spent a lot of time. I spent 2 years, probably 14, 15, and 16, working out dark and light, walking a cemetery most every night by my house. And so I did a lot of integration there and acceptance of all aspects of the universe as high as I could, to the level of awareness that I could. But one thing I noticed about the journey, especially since I would say that almost the last 10 months with Morgan, the evolution of the experiences, of energetic experiences we have when we lay down at night, it's evolved. Like all different faces of the universe have come in, and one thing that I've noticed is that energy, and we've both seen some pretty hideous, not too attractive looking things and that type of stuff, along with lots of other things, but the energy is always open, as open as you are, and so it's like there's no bad occurrences or anything. We're talking dragons, we're talking all kinds of stuff, but it's like it's been another fast track that I've noticed, or a deeper level of expansion or growth that has come from the relationship. And a lot of people are interested, because I think it's new territory, the reinstitution of the sacred sexuality in the integration of the physical and the non-physical with these couples. We're talking about it. We talk about it as much as we can. Have you noticed a difference? You talked about the past relationships. When it comes to intimacy, is it more spiritual? Are there energetic explosions and chemistries and expansions and that type of thing?
So for me, the one that stands out is the one we talked about, was like that conscious conception. Like we both had the same experience internally, and we both knew without a doubt. We just knew that we had conceived this child. That was just, you can't really even describe how that was.
We didn't say, oh, let's do this tonight, We didn't say anything before.
No, it wasn't like a plan like this.
We didn't plan together and say, oh, tonight we're going to do this.
Yeah.
Imagine this light, because I was imagining this light coming and emerging inside of me, and like Angelo coming. And he said the same. Afterwards, we talk about, because I said, oh, I know what I was imagining. I did this and that, and then he said, I did this as well.
So yeah, we had the same experience without. Like before, we're trying to have a child, and nothing was working, and then we just knew this time that because this experience came together, so that was just incredible. It was really there was no doubt. It was like you don't even need like pregnancy test or anything like that. It's
and then
like
I felt like
you have the best one,
and she could feel. Some of the mothers out there would probably within I don't know like 3-4 days at least could feel something in her body.
Yes.
How long was it?
On my left side of the
a few days.
Small thing like tingling, and I said, "Oh, I think I'm pregnant." And I told my sister like the things I start feeling, like sweating at night, and then feeling this thing here. She said, "Oh, do the test. Are you pregnant?" And then I took like 40 days to do, and she was sending message, "Do the test. You are pregnant." So no, I went more just to make sure, but I was feeling already in my body.
Yeah. But I feel, it's very important. And I talked about on the first call that I was on with you, like one of my biggest missions and roles here is, the transmutation around the sexual trauma and all of the things around, and that's moving towards divine sexuality. But we can't get there until we've uncovered, embraced, loved all of the sexual trauma, all of the sexual things all around that. And that's been our journey since we got together. So I feel it's moving more deeply into the divine sexual experience, which can happen within one being. It doesn't need another. Yeah. But when it does come together in union, it's just a beautiful God experience, really. So
true that. Yeah, true that. But I think there's a lot of other elements to it which you're hitting on too, which we've experienced and still do. So it's not only the ecstatic, sacred, sexual intimacy and the multidimensionality and all the things that involves, but it's also the alignment with all the traumas, and I think again as the relationship's gone on, and everything is mirroring everything, there's a pattern in the energy. A lot of this is being done. It's telepathic, it's intuitive, it's knowing that there's no rush. We're always moving to a higher ground in all aspects of the life. And that part's intriguing though. And I see a lot of different people that are taking it on a lot of different ways, but to go into the relationship and move in and then build a life together and have a baby and be going through all this stuff, that's not being done a lot. So that's off too.
In 4 years now.
4 years.
Oh my God, yeah.
But it's fast track, like just it's pure fast track. That's what it is. We know it's fast track. We know we're here to serve. We know we're here to go through it. And whenever it gets challenging, we know there's a real purpose, and we always know that expansion is coming. But just on that as well, I remember that first time, like that soul recognition, like that, that magnetism, like felt before. Maybe you could call it lust or excitement or something like that. It was all lower chakras. That's what I feel this divine union was about. It was like all heart-based, and there was no feeling of attachment. There was never any feeling of this person's going to complete me. We both feel like this, like sovereign beings coming together in a choice to uncover everything in this lifetime and whatever else. But it's all from the heart up, whereas everything before was from the root up or the root down, maybe even. But I feel that was the difference, and that was something that was felt right away for me, and it was very different for both of us. We'd never experienced, I'd never read anything about it. I didn't know anything about that until we experienced it. We seemed to just dive in to these experiences and learn as we go.
Yeah.
Would you say that you guys have a lot of polarities? I mean,
absolutely. Oh my God. Absolutely. Oh my God. That's why we're doing it every day. Yeah, absolutely. Completely. It's perfect. It's absolutely perfect. Like no one else could live with me and be married to me. That's the first thing. There's no way. No one else. but it's just perfect. It's perfect design. Absolutely perfectly designed, perfectly agreed. The polarities are just absolutely perfect. You know, she's got infinite patience. She's basically, you know, very relaxed, very doesn't get too emotional, doesn't get highly charged. I'm all the opposites. She's very intuitive, very sensitive, but she's able to keep it here, whereas I'm like out here. It's perfect polarities. It works. It's, I mean, that's where the challenges is, but it's where the perfection is, too.
Yeah.
Yeah, sometimes when he's that he thinks I should be doing something like him or something like that. I say, no, imagine if I were like you, we couldn't live together.
Oh, really?
So I will be like myself. I loving myself the way I am.
You know, when you get so enlightened and you get so awake, you just know the right answer and you say, no, you should be doing this. Yeah. That's like you're saying, we got this.
Yeah.
I never got this.
Yeah. That's why, you know, what you know, when in doubt, shut your mouth. That's where I'm going more and more. It's just, I'm making jokes. Well, because it's become really obvious to me, especially, well, you know, where's your presence the most? Your presence is the most right where you're at. But it's become obvious to me to that silence is, it's just safer. You have time to think and things to, you know, process.
Yeah, that's actually one of the first things we did together. After we went to India, we did yoga teacher training for a month. Then we came and traveled around Europe and did like breathwork sessions all around. And then we did a week silent retreat in Portugal. It was one of the most amazing experiences of my life. Like, and we did that together, but you know, interaction, but we were in the same group doing that silent retreat. It was beautiful.
I'd have never made that one. I'm just kidding. I know you guys connect together. When you connect together, does Angelo ever enter your field when you guys are connecting?
Say that again.
Whenever the both of you are connecting together, like meditating or you know, in silence, just opening your field, does Angelo's energy ever come into the field, like into your meditation?
Absolutely. I know in all of the work that I do, a lot of the breath work, a lot of the channeling, he's there with me all the time. And he's not like that, this version, that bodily. I think we just say, we're just looking after his body for a while. He is with me in everything, supporting me in everything, guiding me the right way. He's there always. And Elise, of course, she has a very deep connection with him constantly with like feeding and all of that time. And he's always there energetically. And I just feel so strongly that I wouldn't be doing any of the work that I'm doing if it wasn't for both of them together.
Wow. Right on to that. Right on to
You need a good team. You need a good team to do what we're doing.
Right. We all do, right?
Yes.
Wow, this is cool. We should do this again. Next time we'll have to talk Morgan into coming in.
Yes, that would be amazing. That'd be amazing. We'd love to.
No, it's there are a lot of things I can you know, that resonate and I can understand just in the story that you're telling. Although on the surface it may look a little different, but I get where you're at. What I don't get is having a baby in the house. But I will say this, that Angelo, I mean, if there's no other reason, it's just to be quiet and silence around his energy, because you know it's full of code. You know it's got to be.
He makes people very uncomfortable. When we take people, he does energy work continuously on people, and he's not like the normal baby. He's either like crying or like he's like intensely staring into your soul, and some people, they can't deal with it. Even like some of my family and stuff, they can't. He's like he's working. He's working continuously. He's eating a date now, but he has this intense stare and he's just looking through you. And it's just like you feel all your bullshit just fall away. And sometimes people can't handle it. He just does it. It's funny. It's amazing. But we get up like we're doing our sadhana at 5 a.m. in the morning. He gets up.
Yeah.
He gets up and does mantras with us. And like his first words have been mantras. Yeah. He's getting up at 5 in the morning. we're just looking after his body for a short time.
Yeah, I like the way
Very
you
short
put
time.
that.
Yes.
Have you guys had any pushback? I mean, you mentioned in that experience you had your family and letting go and all that stuff, but have you had any pushback from family or friends as you've elevated together? You know, resistance to you or anything like that?
I don't think we've had pushback, but we've had many people fall away. Like, so
Yeah,
not
that's really what
like,
that's really what I meant. That's really what I meant.
yeah.
So
So
we moved
we're lucky. I
to
think
another country as well.
we disappeared into the wilderness where we actually still are. So we, for like 2 years, we just disappeared and like went into continuous work on ourselves every day. So just murmur, get in tears, get a breakthrough. We did that continuously. So we kind of separate ourselves from the world. So naturally, people and places and things that were relevant kind of fell away. Luckily, we haven't had any like pushback as in like negative responses. More the fear of me coming out to do what I was doing it wasn't about other people. It was my fears about other people doing what I do. But no, we've been blessed. A lot of people have fallen away naturally, but no real challenge.
One way or the other. Yeah. I think
my
that's
friend,
just part of the. Yeah. Go ahead.
My friends were at the beginning just joking, saying that I became an alien.
Became
they're like what?
Yeah.
They're like why did you run off with that white boy though, Blanco?
Yeah. And then when I transformed my life, it was totally different. They were like feeling that it was different, but I moved. I have so many friends in Dubai, and then I moved to Portugal, and then I was just talking to them sometimes on WhatsApp, sometimes on Facebook, but more on WhatsApp. But no, we didn't have any because we came here and we live far. I think.
Have you noticed at all? Have you noticed at all any type of pattern or coincidence or whatever of people that get around you start to go into these relationships? Have you seen any of that happening?
Yeah, we had one. We had some people getting into like conscious relationships. Yeah, we have quite a few around, like dotted around the world.
Yes.
Not locally. Well, one locally here as well. After a breathwork session with us, she came looking. She was getting a little bit older, and she was looking to get into a partnership. She was looking to have a baby. She thought it was too late, and it happened within 2 days after one breathwork session, and that has happened. And that was kind of that. But they're mostly. We've connected with them kind of like you guys, like digitally or virtually. They're kind of dotted all around the world. But here we kind of like, most of our experiences are kind of like virtual experiences. Although we've had the retreats and we've gone and met lots of people, we still do keep ourselves to ourselves a lot because we are still doing this work. It's not like let up. It's just our ability to go through it has got so much better. So we're still in that process, but now there's 3.
Yeah.
So
so are we. And I think everybody is, whether they want to admit it or not. I'd love to get together with y'all again. And thank you for honoring us with your presence and sharing space. And thank you, Angelo. I'll see you up in the ethers later today when I lay down and take a nap.
Say thank you. Say thank you, Uncle Todd. Say thank you. Oh, kiss. You're getting a kiss. You're getting a kiss. Beijos. Yes, thank you so much for having us. It's an honor and a pleasure. Loving your work. Thank you for everything that you're sharing and bringing and raising the consciousness. Keep on keeping on.
Yeah,
you
thank
too.
you very much.
Too.
Next time we will see you with Morgan.
Yes.
Morgan,
Boa noite.
Boa noite.
Muito obrigado.
Boa noite.
Amor. Beijos. Tchau.